Life is full of unexpected storms. Sometimes these storms appear suddenly, catching us off guard and leaving us scrambling for shelter. They can shake the very foundation of our lives, reminding us how little control we truly have over what happens next. These storms come in many forms, both seen and unseen. They might be the literal storms that rage outside our windows, or the emotional and mental storms that rage within our hearts and minds. Sometimes, they are the challenges we face at work, the struggles within our families, or the unexpected news that changes everything in an instant. Sometimes, they are literal, with thunder and rain pounding against the earth, reminding us of nature's power and unpredictability. The sky darkens, the wind howls, and we are reminded of our own vulnerability in the face of forces much greater than ourselves. Other times, they are metaphorical, representing chaos and turmoil in our lives. The world can feel like a whirlwind, spinning out of control, leaving us feeling small and powerless. These storms can be just as fierce as any thunderstorm, shaking us to our core. We all face them, and they often leave us feeling overwhelmed and afraid. The weight of uncertainty and fear can press down on us, making it hard to see a way forward. In these moments, it's easy to feel like we're drowning in worry and doubt. In these moments, it's easy to feel lost. We may wander through our days in a fog, unsure of which direction to take, searching for answers that seem just out of reach. We might struggle to find peace, longing for a sense of calm that seems impossible to grasp. We try to quiet our minds, to find a moment of stillness, but the noise of the storm often drowns out our efforts. The world around us seems chaotic and out of control. People rush by, time moves quickly, and the demands of life never seem to slow down. It can feel like we're caught in a current, swept along by forces we can't control. Our minds race, and our hearts pound. Anxiety builds, and we search for something, anything, that will bring relief. We long for reassurance, for a sign that things will be okay. We search for something to hold on to, something stable and reassuring. We reach out for support, for a hand to steady us, for a foundation that won't crumble beneath our feet. But even in the darkest storms, there is hope. Just as the sun breaks through the clouds after a long night, there is always the possibility of light returning to our lives. Sometimes, hope appears as a gentle whisper, a reminder that we are not alone. There is a calm that can be found amidst the chaos. It may not come all at once, but slowly, like the dawn after a stormy night, peace begins to settle in. The world grows quiet, and we remember that storms do not last forever. It is a peace that surpasses understanding, a sense of stillness that fills us even when the world outside is still in turmoil. This peace is not dependent on our circumstances but comes from something deeper within. This peace comes from faith and trust, especially in a higher power. When we let go of our need to control everything and place our trust in something greater, we find a strength we didn't know we had. For many, this is found in the teachings and presence of Jesus Christ. His words offer comfort, His presence brings reassurance, and His love provides an anchor in the midst of life's storms. No matter how fierce the chaos, there is always hope, and there is always peace to be found. The Bible tells a powerful story about a storm, one that is not just about the weather, but about fear, faith, and the presence of God in the midst of chaos. This story has been told for generations, reminding people that even in the darkest moments, there is hope. You can find this story in the book of Mark chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. It's a passage that has comforted and challenged countless readers, inviting them to imagine themselves in the boat with Jesus and His disciples. On that day, Jesus and His disciples climbed into a small wooden boat. They were tired from teaching and healing crowds of people, and Jesus suggested they cross to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. The water was calm as they set out, the sun dipping low on the horizon. The Sea of Galilee, surrounded by hills, was known for sudden storms, but at first, everything seemed peaceful. But as they sailed further from shore, dark clouds gathered overhead. Without warning, a violent storm swept down onto the lake, turning the calm water into a churning, dangerous sea. The wind howled fiercely, whipping the sails and tossing the boat like a toy. Waves crashed over the sides, drenching the disciples and filling the boat with water. The men, many of them experienced fishermen, were gripped by fear. Their faces showed panic and dread. They clung to the sides of the boat, shouting to each other, desperately trying to keep the vessel afloat. The storm was so intense that even these seasoned sailors feared for their lives. The boat was tossed up and down by the waves, and the disciples struggled to keep their balance. The roar of the wind and the crashing of the water made it almost impossible to hear each other. Water poured into the boat faster than they could bail it out. Every moment, the danger grew. The disciples' hearts pounded as they realized they might not survive. Soaked to the bone and exhausted, they began to lose hope. The storm seemed unstoppable and the boat was sinking. They thought they would surely drown in the raging sea. In their panic, the disciples remembered Jesus. But to their amazement, he was asleep at the back of the boat, his head resting on a cushion, completely undisturbed by the chaos around him. While the storm raged and the boat rocked violently, Jesus slept peacefully in the stern. His calm presence was in stark contrast to the terror of his friends. The noise, the wind, and the water did not disturb his rest. It was as if he was untouched by the danger that threatened everyone else. Desperate and afraid, the disciples rushed to Jesus. They shook him awake, their voices trembling with fear and urgency. "Teacher, don't you care that we are about to die?" they cried. Their words revealed both their fear and their hope that Jesus could save them. In that moment, the disciples were desperate for help, longing for Jesus to do something, anything, to save them from the storm that threatened to overwhelm them. The disciples' fear was real and intense. They had never seen a storm like this before. The wind was strong and the waves were high. The situation seemed dire and their fear was understandable. In moments like these, fear can take over our minds. When we face our own storms, we can feel a similar fear. It's easy to feel small and powerless. The uncertainty of what will happen next can be terrifying. We may feel like the disciples, crying out for help and wondering if anyone cares. Fear can be paralyzing. It can make us feel alone and isolated. We may question our ability to handle the situation. Our confidence can waver, and doubt can creep in. In these moments, we need something to anchor us. In the story, Jesus responded to the disciples' cries. He stood up and spoke to the storm. With authority, he commanded the wind and the waves to be still. "Peace, be still," he said, and immediately the storm ceased. The sea became calm and the wind stopped. The disciples were amazed. They had witnessed a miracle. Jesus had shown his power over nature. He had brought peace in the midst of chaos. They realized that even the wind and the sea obeyed him. This moment taught the disciples an important lesson. They learned about faith and trust. They saw that Jesus was in control even when it seemed otherwise. His presence brought peace, and his words calmed their fears. This story is more than just a miraculous event. It is a powerful reminder that, even in the most difficult moments of our lives, we are never truly alone. The presence of Jesus is not just a distant idea or a comforting thought. It is a living reality that can transform the way we experience our struggles. It is a reminder for us all, no matter our age or background, that when we face hardships, we can look for signs of hope and comfort. Sometimes these signs are subtle: a gentle word from a friend, a moment of quiet in the midst of chaos, or a sense of peace that settles over us when we least expect it. It shows us that Jesus is with us in our trials, walking beside us through every storm. He understands our pain, our fears, and our doubts, and he meets us right where we are, offering his presence as a source of strength and reassurance. He may not always stop the storm immediately, but, he is present. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not the end of our troubles, but the peace we find in the midst of them, knowing that we are held and cared for. His presence brings comfort and peace that surpasses understanding. In moments when we feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, we can pause and remember that we are not facing these challenges alone. When we face our own storms, we can remember this truth. We can take a deep breath, steady our hearts, and trust that Jesus is walking with us, step by step, through every difficulty. We can find solace in knowing we are not alone. The support of loved ones, the kindness of strangers, and the quiet moments of reflection all remind us of God's presence in our lives. Jesus walks with us through our challenges, guiding us gently and giving us the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is uncertain or difficult. His love and strength are there to support us, lifting us up when we feel weak and reminding us that we are cherished and valued no matter what we are going through. We can lean on him and find rest for our souls. In the stillness, we can let go of our worries and allow his peace to fill our hearts, renewing our hope and our strength. Our faith can be a source of strength, a foundation that holds us steady when everything else feels uncertain. Through prayer, reflection, and trust, we can draw closer to Jesus and experience his presence more deeply. It helps us to endure and persevere, to keep going even when the journey is hard. Faith gives us the resilience to rise each day and face whatever comes, knowing we are never abandoned. It gives us hope in the face of adversity, reminding us that every storm will eventually pass, and that new beginnings are always possible with Jesus by our side. Knowing that Jesus is with us can bring us peace, even in the darkest moments. His light shines in our hearts, guiding us through uncertainty and fear. It allows us to face life's storms with courage and confidence, trusting that we are never alone, and that with Jesus we can overcome anything that comes our way. In today's world, we face many kinds of storms. They may not involve wind and rain, but they are just as real. We deal with stress, anxiety, and uncertainty. We face challenges at work, in relationships, and with our health. These personal storms can be overwhelming. They can make us feel like we are drowning. We may struggle to find balance and peace. The pressures of daily life can weigh us down. It's easy to feel lost in the chaos. But in these moments, we can turn to our faith. We can seek the peace that Jesus offers. His presence can calm our hearts and minds. His teachings remind us of what truly matters. We can find stability amidst the turmoil. Faith acts as a beacon of hope in our lives. It guides us through the storms. It lights our path when the way seems dark. It gives us the strength to carry on. When we trust in Jesus, we find peace. Our faith reminds us that we are not alone. It connects us to something greater than ourselves. It gives us purpose and meaning. In times of trouble, it offers comfort and assurance. It tells us that we are loved and cared for. With faith, we can face any storm. We can stand firm and resilient. We can overcome the challenges before us. Our trust in Jesus gives us the courage to keep going. It helps us to see beyond the immediate chaos. Trusting Jesus is a choice we make each day. It's a decision to rely on his strength and wisdom. It's believing that he is in control, even when life seems uncertain. Trusting him brings peace to our hearts. When we trust Jesus, we find stability. We experience a calm that is not shaken by circumstances. Our faith anchors us in the midst of life's storms. It gives us confidence to face whatever comes our way. Trusting Jesus means letting go of fear. It means surrendering our worries to him. It means believing that he will see us through. With trust, we find hope and joy. We can live with peace, knowing that we are in his care. In the storms of life, we can find peace. Jesus calms the chaos around us. He brings hope and assurance. His presence is a source of strength and comfort. We can trust him in every situation. Let us remember the story of the storm. Let it remind us of Jesus' power and love. Let it inspire us to trust him more deeply. With faith, we can face any challenge. We can find peace amidst the chaos. As we navigate life's storms, let us hold on to hope. Let us find encouragement in our faith. Let us trust Jesus, knowing that he is with us. In every storm, he brings peace and calm. Trust in him and find rest for your soul.